A group of children runs through the woods in the darkness of night, trying to escape a creepy whistling that they call Crazy Dog. While passing through a bridge, a boy spots his friend in the bushes down the bridge, unconscious. He stops to help him because he is like his family. Others stop him from doing this, as this is their last chance to escape from that place. If they are caught now, then the Crazy Dog will beat them a lot. But that boy, also known as number 11, insists on helping his friend. He asks others to leave and then goes down to help his friend number 13. When Crazy Dog and his hounds come there, the boys try to hold their breath to avoid being caught. Meanwhile, a friend of theirs is caught in an iron trap in the woods. At the same time, others who have reached the road try to stop a passing car, but that car crashes into one of the boys and then stops after injuring that boy badly. There are police officers in the car who catch those boys and bring them back to Crazy Dog. Meanwhile, others have also been caught by Crazy Dog and his men. One by one, they're captured in various horrific ways. Two of them, numbers 11 and 13, end up hiding beneath floorboards, directly under where Crazy Dog is looming over one of their fallen friends. In the present, we see a young lady named Jiun who is coming back home at night after celebrating her 20th birthday with her friends. She is passing through a dark alley when she feels that someone is following her. She tries to run, but that follower captures her and then takes her to a mysterious place. There, he kills her brutally and also mutilates her body. Then, the killer throws her body at a lonely place. Back at Jiun's house, her parents decorate the house and make all the arrangements for the celebration of her 20th birthday. They get anxious when they try to call her, but her cell phone is switched off, though she has messaged them that she is close to home and will reach soon. The weather outside is also stormy, which adds to their worry. Some days later, her body was discovered, wrapped in a garbage bag and sitting straight up in a dump heap, with a Joker-style smile carved into her face. At the crime scene, we meet Detective Sun Jun. He takes a very hands-on approach to investigating, to the point that he wraps himself in a garbage bag and rolls down the hill to see if it's possible to land upright like Jiun's corpse supposedly did. He concludes that it isn't, meaning the killer went to the trouble of carrying her body all the way down here and placing it in that position. The mortician informs Sun Jun that the Joker scars were made with a very small, sharp knife like a scalpel, and he backs her up against the wall with one such scalpel, holding it right up next to her face as he contemplates the exact slicing motions the killer must have used. Then Sun Jun goes with his assistant Suk-gak to investigate the area where they found the corpse. The CCTV cameras are deliberately damaged in that area. Meanwhile, they see a delivery guy, Sun Jun, trying to stop him, but when he doesn't stop, Sun Jun runs behind him. Finally, when he is able to stop the delivery guy, he shows him the picture of the victim and tries to ask him if he saw that lady in that area, but he hasn't seen her there. Luckily, the delivery guy has a camera attached to his helmet, which may have some recording. Sun Jun's first big clue comes from one of Jiun's friends. They'd been at a club together on her birthday, where some guy had harassed them and threatened Jiun with a knife when she wouldn't accept a drugged beverage. When Sun Jun drops by the club, he finds that same guy threatening another young woman in the same manner. He is forcing her to take a beverage mixed with some drugs, but the lady is resisting. He doesn't even back down when Sun Jun pushes him and flashes his badge, so Sun Jun beats him there. Then, he takes that man to the investigation room of the police station and starts asking him questions, but his colleague Suk-gak comes in and tells Sun Jun that this man's alibi has been confirmed. At this, the man brags that he is the son of an influential person, and Sun Jun will have to face the consequences of assaulting him. But Sun Jun brags in front of him, saying that his father and his brother are judges, so he should do what he wants. Meanwhile, they have got the video of the camera of that delivery man. The face of the man trying to assault Jiun can be seen clearly in that video, and it comes out that the man works at a facility called Hope Foods. Sun Jun goes to pay a visit to Hope Foods, a facility owned by Jiun's father, Moon-kon. There, he feels that the workers are hiding the identity of the killer from him. So, he catches a man calling his officials to hide the suspect named Young Man Chun. Sun Jun makes him show the location of the suspect. There, the suspect, Young Man Chun, ambushes Sun Jun, but he's quickly apprehended and arrested on murder charges. Bae is in his car, seeing all of this from a distance. Then, we see Sun Hoon, the elder brother of Sun Jun and a judge. He is presiding over the trial by jury of the suspect. The 9 people selected for the jury members come from various walks of life, including a fashion influencer, a sushi chef, a taxi driver, and social worker. In front of the court, Manchun admits that on that night, He went to threaten Ji-eun in the alley because her father had not paid his salary for many months, but he also claims that she got away and jumped into someone else's car. He named Sung-joon as the driver and the actual killer of Ji-eun. Hearing this, the whole court started gossiping that a suspect like him should not be believed. However, Sung-joon is summoned as a witness, but he's armed with solid evidence. He shows the video of the delivery man's camera, in which the face of Man-chun can be seen very clearly, and he is pushing Ji-eun to the wall at that time, pointing a knife towards her face. The most authentic evidence is that the wife of Man-chun has the same Joker scars around her mouth as Ji-eun's face, which was given to her by Man-chun. It's so convincing that no one sees the need even to ask if Ji-eun really got into Sung-joon's car that night. Based on all the evidence, Man-chun is ultimately found guilty. So, the jury decides to punish the culprit and pass on their verdict to Judge Sun-hoon. As Sun-hoon sentences him to life in prison, he flies into a violent rage. Sun-hoon never even pauses in pronouncing his sentence, even as Man-chun comes within inches of killing him with a sharp pen in front of the entire courtroom. Later that night, when Man-chun was being transported to the jail, we saw that, in the courtroom chaos, he'd stolen part of the jury names and addresses. Meanwhile, a motorcycle makes a sharp cut in front of Man-chun's prison transport, causing it to melt into an accident. Man-chun uses this opportunity to escape from the police. The next morning, the police found another dead body. One of the jurors, influencer Hyejin, was murdered the same night after the trial. Her injuries matched Ji-eun's exactly, right down to the length of the Joker scars, meaning this is either the same killer or an extremely exact copycat. Since the other jurors were the last to see Hyejin alive, Sung-joon and his colleagues started by questioning each of them. Some act shiftier than others, but almost all have verifiable alibis. One of the jurors is a taxi driver named Choi Seung-gil. He'd given several jurors a ride home after their dinner party on the night when Hyejin was killed. During their ride, a couple on a motorbike crossed them, making Choi Seung-gil hyper. He started driving fast to rebuke the couple on that motorbike for their rash driving. Seeing this, the other jurors, who both are ladies, are frightened. Hyejin was the very last to be dropped off from both of them. Not only that, but Seung-gil had displayed an uncanny burst of road rage when that motorcyclist cut him off, and he'd been leering at Eun-ki and Hyejin in his mirror for much of the drive. Both the ladies were cautious of him. Back in the present, forensic doctors inspect the whole scene and do the autopsy of the corpse. Sung-joon is again trying to get into the shoes of the culprit to know the method of the assault and the killing. He quickly goes to Man-chun, who is now captured and at the hospital due to his injuries. Sung-joon tries to ask him if he killed Hyejin, but Man-chun says that he has an alibi at the time of the murder. On some investigation, the alibi of Man-chun is confirmed, so he is not the killer this time. So Sung-joon leaves him. Then, he starts investigating the alibis of all other jurors. The more Sung-joon looks into the jurors, the more his suspicion about Seung-gil increases. Upon checking his taxi, Sung-joon finds a raincoat also, which could possibly have been used at the time of the murder to hide his identity. It also turns out he was in the special forces with Moon-kong, and the two even have matching spider tattoos on their arms. He doesn't tell Sung-joon that Seung-gil also worked at Hope Welfare Center. Meanwhile, the favorite son is doing some searching of his own. Late one night, he searches Sung-joon's car, and he finds out one of Ji-eun's earrings and matches it with the photographs of the victim's body at the crime scene. Actually, Sung-hoon is still curious about the accusation of Man-chun as he didn't accept his crime, unlike the serial killer. At that exact moment, Sung-joon is in his bed, staring thoughtfully at one of Hyejin's fingernails. Sung-hoon then goes to meet Man-chun and asks the reality of that matter. Man-chun is still steadfast in his stance that he didn't kill anyone. Then we see Police Chief Yeon Ki-nam wandering, distressed here and there, separated from his daughter. Actually, Hyejin was her daughter, whom Joker killer brutally killed. Meanwhile, Yeon Ki-nam receives a message containing a video. When he opens it, it is the video of the live murder of his daughter Hyejin. She is begging for her life from the murderer, but the murderer says that she has to die because of the sins of her father. Seeing this, Yeon Ki-nam's sadness and grief have increased even more. After some time, he comes to the morgue, where everyone is there to pay their greetings to the departed soul of Hyejin. Sung-joon is also there, who is talking to the son of Hyejin to make him forget her mother momentarily. There, Yeon sees a locket hanging around Sung-joon's neck. He is shocked to see that necklace. He remembers this necklace from his past with a young boy named Yoon Jae. Actually, Yeon has also worked in the area where Hope Welfare Center was present as a police officer. He saw that necklace around the neck of a kid named Yoon Jae, who was present there with his sister Yoon Young. So now, Yoon Ki-nam thinks that Sung Joon is actually Yoon Jae, who has grown up and is killing people to take revenge for his past. Yoon Ki-nam starts to follow Sung Joon. He checks Sung Joon's files and learns that his parents also adopted him at a young age. So now his speculations have increased. He appoints another officer, Kang, to ask Sung Joon about that locket. At the table of lunch, Kang asks casually from Sung Joon about the locker. Sung Joon tells him that it was given to him by his sister in their childhood. He also says that his sister died in her childhood. When Kang tells Chief Yoon Ki-nam about all this, he becomes sure that Sung Joon is actually Yoon Jae. He passes on this information to Mr. Baek Moon Kang as he has worked under him back in the past. Yoon Ki-nam tells him that Yoon Jae is taking his revenge now by killing their loved ones. Meanwhile, Man-chun asks to speak to Sung Joon alone on the hospital rooftop. Sung Joon complies and comes to meet him. There, Man-chun falls to his knees and begs him for help. His young son has a brain tumor and was about to be discharged if they couldn't pay his bills, but an anonymous caller promised to pay their debt if Man-chun would take the fall for a murder that was about to happen. Everything, from holding Eun-ki hostage to Man-chun's wife's Joker scars, happened according to that man's orders. Man-chun also has evidence as he recorded his voice calls with that man. He tells Sung Joon the location of the evidence and asks him to help him out of this fuss. Right after Sung Joon leaves the rooftop, the officer guarding Man-chun is knocked out by a blow from behind, and Man-chun falls off the roof to his death. Sun Hoon is present there and sees Man-chun falling on the road in front of his eyes. He came there to meet Man-chun but saw this unfortunate event there. He runs to the rooftop and sees the unconscious guard there. On waking, the guard says that just after Sun Joon left after meeting Man-chun, someone hit him from behind, and he does not know what happened after that. Meanwhile, Sung Joon isn't picking up anyone's calls, so a manhunt ensues for him. They track his phone to a motel, where Officer Kang finds him holding a knife that's buried in Man-chun's now-dead wife. The scene shifts to the past when all the boys are having a little fun amid their cruel and tiresome life at the Hope Welfare Center. But when Manager Choi Suk-gil sees them, he beats one of the boys a lot, and then forces him to clean the bath area with his tongue. This type of cruelty happened to the children there. Back to the present, it is obvious that the scene of capturing Sung Joon at the crime scene does not look good. Officer Kang has his finger on the trigger and won't listen to Sung Joon's attempts to explain, so Sung Joon fights him off and flees. But Moon Kang's men are waiting in his car to kidnap him. When Sung Joon comes to, he's in a dark basement. It looks like Hope Welfare, and his disorientation increases as Mad Dog slowly walks toward him, whistling in his unique style. Though Sung Joon reacts when Moon Kang calls him Yoon Jae, he doesn't seem to recognize that Moon Kang really is Crazy Dog, or to fully understand he's being accused of killing Ji-eun until Moon Kang spells it out for him. Moon Kang is sure that he is Yoon Jae when he sees his necklace hanging around his neck. When Moon Kang moves closer with a knife, planning quite literally to cut Sung Joon to pieces, Sung Joon somehow manages to fight his way free with his hands still tied. They chase him through the woods to the edge of a small cliff. With nowhere else to go, Sung Joon says that he is now tougher than his childhood version and can't be caught so easily. Saying this, he jumps off the cliff, hitting his head on the way down and knocking himself unconscious. Sung Joon has managed to escape Moon Kang, but he's barely staying upright now. He drags himself to a payphone and tries to call his partner, who doesn't answer. He doesn't have many other options, but he does have a juror named Eun-ki's business card, and her promise of help anytime as thanks for saving her life. Despite having seen the news, Eun-ki answers his call and goes to find him. By the time she arrives, Sung Joon has hidden himself under a nearby tarp, nearly unconscious from the blood loss. It takes Eun-ki some time to find Sung Joon, but as she helps him into her van, a car approaches there. It is Moon Kang who comes out of the car and examines the area. He also sees Eun-ki's van there and tries to inspect it. Luckily, Eun-ki has already hidden Sung Joon out of the way, pretending to be drunk and waiting on a designated driver. It works, and Moon Kang leaves annoyed. Eun-ki takes Sung Joon back to the children's center where she's been staying and tends to his wounds. Once he finally wakes up and orients himself, he borrows her phone to read the news. Only then does he realize just how much he's being accused of, and how many people have died. Worst and most puzzling is that Man-chun's son was also killed. Sung Joon had found him face down in the tub and resuscitated him just before the other detective arrived on the scene. For now, however, Sung Joon is safe. He needs someone's help to get him out of this situation. Eun-ki suggests they reach out to Sun Hoon for help. Sung Joon figures it's pointless, given Sun Hoon's unrelenting principles, but he agrees to try. Ki sneaks a note to Sun Hoon in the building when he is going for lunch, and he hands it right over to the detectives. Sun Jun has asked him to meet tonight at a specific location, but it's all a ruse. Sun Hoon knows the only way to pull this off is to fool even Sun Jun, so he lets the detectives set up a trap for Sun Jun to walk right into. But a few of the detectives, including Sun Jun's partner, are in on Sun Hoon's plan, and they help Sun Jun evade capture. Sun Jun is angry at his brother for informing the police about their meetup. Sun Jun is devastated until Ki meets him back at the children's center with Sun Hoon in tow. With tears in his eyes, Sun Jun jumps up to hug him, but Sun Hoon clarifies that he's only in this to catch the true culprit, and he's still not 100% convinced it isn't Sun Jun. Meanwhile, Seung-gil is still angry over the road rage incident that night, so he has been stalking one of the teens of that couple. The girl named Huna is actually someone to whom Ki is providing her guardianship, as her original mother left her alone. He finally gets the girl in his taxi and drives her out to the woods to murder her. He pulls the girl out of the car and beats her a lot after dragging her into the woods. The girl calls Ki for help, and Ki rallies the police. When Ki finds her, she's badly beaten, but still alive. At the hospital, from the girl's description, they're able to pinpoint Seung-gil as she mentions the peculiar tattoo on the arm of her attacker. She draws that tattoo, and Ki shows it to Sun Jun, who quickly identifies it as Seung-gil's. Also, the attacker has attacked the face and torso badly, just like the previous attacks. Then, Sun Jun remembers the nail that he had found around the corpse of Hae-jin. He had given that nail to the forensic doctor to inspect its DNA. Now he goes to meet that forensic doctor secretly to ask about the reports of that nail. The forensic doctor tells him that the blood on that nail does not match the blood of Sun Jun, so it can be provided as evidence that Sun Jun is not the killer. Sun Jun asks the doctor to send the report to the police station, but Officer Kang finds the report before anyone else can see it. He takes it to Chief Yom Ki-nam and shows it to him. Chief Yom Ki-nam doesn't want Sun Jun to be set free, so he forbids Kang from talking about this report to anyone. Meanwhile, we see Seung-gil going towards his home alone in an alley. He felt that someone was following him but could not see anyone there. He enters his home and sits on the floor to peacefully enjoy his drinks. On the other hand, Sun Jun comes there after some time to ask Seung-gil about the murders he committed. But Sun Jun finds Seung-gil's front door open and Seung-gil dead inside. He also finds Seung-gil's phone hidden away to record the whole thing. Police vans also came there, so Sun Jun had to run from that place. Back at the safe place, Sun Jun shows the recording to Sun Hoon. In the recording, we learn that someone else came to Seung-gil's house before Sun Jun. Seung-gil identified him as one of the jurors present at the time of the trial of Man Chun. Also, Seung-gil knows that he is one of the Boys of Hope Welfare Center. But during their conversation, suddenly, that man breaks a glass bottle on Seung-gil's head. Now, they try to identify the killer by remembering the people present in the court on the day of the trial. While Sun Hoon mulls over the recording, Sun Jun sneaks back to Seung-gil's house and walks through the murder based on audio cues. Something feels off until Sun Hoon has a burst of inspiration and calls to suggest Sun Jun to match the sound going downstairs. As he does, he finds himself shuffling unevenly. The killer has a limp, and so did one of the jurors. Sun Jun, Sun Hoon, and Ki discuss the juror, who usually limps every time they meet him. His name is Tae-ho, and he also showed anger once when Hae-jin tried to photograph him. The back side of his hand is also burned badly and has a big scar. When Sun Jun tries to go in search of Tae-ho, Sun Hoon stops him. He asks him not to do anything without his permission. Sun Jun wants to go after Tae-ho himself. Outside the house, Sun Jun advises Ki not to believe anyone, whether it is Sun Jun or Sun Hoon himself. Meanwhile, Officer Kang has learned that Suk-gak has been helping Sun Jun throughout this time. He tries to apprehend Suk-gak, but Suk-gak attacks him back. He also knows about Officer Kang, as he hid the file from the forensic department, which could prove Sun Jun's innocence. Meanwhile, Tae-ho comes to the police station and offers his custody to the police as he says that he killed Mr. Choi Seung-gil. Officer Kang interrogates him and tells him that Mr. Choi Seung-gil is still alive. This makes Tae-ho very anxious. He wants Mr. Choi Seung-gil dead at any cost. In the end, the police allow him to go. When he is on the road, the goon of Moon Kang captures him and stuffs him into their car. At an unknown location, Moon Kang beats Tae-ho and asks him to work for Moon Kang, but Tae-ho declines his offer, remembering his past when he agreed to work for Moon Kang. He betrayed his friends in a desire to live a normal life, but Moon Khan didn't provide him with what he promised in return for the betrayal of his friends. So, he wants to avoid repeating the same mistake. At this, Moon Khan attempts to bury him alive, but the next day, the intended grave is dug up and empty. Tae-ho is still alive and not present there. Speaking of Seung-gil, it turns out he isn't dead. He's in the hospital with a fractured skull. It is fractured in 2 places, that is, from 2 different attacks. Sung-joon and Eun-ki discover that the recording from Seung-gil's phone is much longer than they realized, and that a second anonymous visitor attempted to finish the murder Tae-ho started. At that same moment, Sung-hoon is visiting Seung-gil. After their conversation, Seung-gil enters a sudden and severe state of distress, and Sung-hoon stands calmly near him as Seung-gil takes his last breaths. Meanwhile, Moon Khan comes to pay a visit to Seung-gil, but he is already dead. Moon Khan sees Sung-joon just leaving the hospital after the death of Seung-gil. Then, we see a juror who is a shaman by profession. She practices magic and sees what happened 20 years ago in the woods near Hope Welfare Center. She was there for some magic practices when she saw a few children being dragged by people in army uniforms. Seeing one of the children, that shaman fearfully said that they should kill this boy on the spot, and he would cause a huge loss of blood if he grew up to be an adult. Remembering this night, the shaman wakes up from her memories and sees blood everywhere around her. On the other hand, Sung-joon is looking for Tae-ho and reaches a container near a shipping area. At the location of Tae-ho, he sees a blood-stained invitation to the wedding of Mr. Kang Yeon-ki's daughter. Mr. Kang Yeon-ki was also one of the jurors. So, Sung-joon also goes to the wedding to find Tae-ho. Meanwhile, it's becoming clear that every juror is somehow linked to Hope Welfare. For example, Kang Yeon-ki delivered food to Hope Welfare, expensive meat on paper, but potatoes in actuality for a handsome profit. Now, Yeon-ki is a successful businessman whose daughter is getting married. Eun-ki is also present at the wedding with other jurors. She spots Tae-ho hiding among the guests. She runs to meet him, but Tae-ho disappears in no time. Meanwhile, someone mixes some drugs into Yeon-ki's champagne. The moment Yeon-ki takes a sip of his champagne, he falls to the ground, unable to breathe. Everyone is shocked by seeing this sight. Sung-joon also reached the place and saw people running for Yeon-ki, but it's just a distraction. By the time someone goes to inform the bride, they find her dead, the telltale Joker smile carved into her face. Sung-joon arrives just then and spots Tae-ho and also someone resembling Sun-hoon. He loses them both, and Sun-hoon retreats to a dark bathroom, where he sobs as he washes blood off his hands. It seems like he is also involved in something cruel. The next morning, since Sung-joon won't be deterred from investigating, Sung-hoon swipes the motorcycle keys and drives him around to look for clues on Tae-ho's whereabouts. Their investigation doesn't yield much, except that Tae-ho was actually a good person. He was injured while saving a pregnant woman from a truck of doom when she was crossing the road. Also, he has built a welfare center for homeless women. That woman whom Tae-ho helped in the past tells Sun-hoon everything. They are present in the park at that time, and the little kid of that woman is playing on the swings. Sung-joon is also sitting nearby, watching him. Suddenly, he remembers memories from his past. In his memories, someone had pushed him down from the swing, which got him hurt. Remembering that, Sung-joon thinks the same is going to happen with this little kid. So, in his quiet desperation to save the kid, he runs and takes him down from the height. His mom is watching this, and she quickly comes there thinking that Sung-joon is hurting her son. Sung-joon apologizes and goes away. On their way back, Sung-joon asks his brother about his childhood. He remembers that Sun-hoon called him by the name of Yoon-jae, but Sun-hoon doesn't reveal much to him for the time being. Meanwhile, Eun-ki is calling all the welfare centers and trying to know more about the Hope Welfare Center and the boys who were there. One day, when Eun-ki is at the hospital with the girl Huna, who was attacked by Seung-gil, Suk-guk calls her and informs her that Officer Kang is coming to search her house to find Sun-joon. So she rushes back to her home to make Sun-joon leave before they come. Huna also follows her and finds a man in the house. She also wants to know their secret and join their team. Otherwise, she will call the police and reveal everything. Sung-joon is also there and takes her into the team. When the police come there to check the house, Sung-joon is teaching Eun-ki and Huna the principles of the judiciary. They had hidden Sung-joon already so that the police could not find him. So, the police return empty-handed. In the night, Chief Yeom-ki now meets Kang-moo and shows his anger toward him. Chief Yeom had helped him capture Sun-joon, whom they think of as Yoon-jae. But Kang-moo missed the opportunity to kill Yoon-jae there, and he ran away from Kang-moo's hands. After that, we see that the killer has reached Tae-ho. After some time, everyone, Sun-jun, Sun-hoon, and the jurors, receive a text that looks like spam with a link. That link pulls up a live feed of Tae-ho, beaten and bound, with a noose around his neck that lifts a little higher every hour. The countdown on the clock can be seen behind him in the video. Police try to locate the IP address of the message, but it comes out to be manipulated. Now, it's a race against the clock, and they don't have much to go on. Tae-ho is struggling for his life there while the police do not know his location. Sun-jun thinks that Tae-ho can be at Soon-gil's location, but when he reaches there, he sees just a dummy hanging by the rope. The countdown is running, and Tae-ho's condition is worsening. Just then, he feels that he should confess everything in the live feed. Only after Tae-ho confesses to betraying the other kids in the past at Hope Welfare Center does a curtain fall in the video background, revealing a clue about that place. Sun-jun is also watching this stream and gets a little idea of the location from his memories. One of the jurors is producer Bae, who, after watching that wall on the live feeds, becomes anxious. He quickly goes and fetches out some old tape recordings and checks them out. Meanwhile, Sun-jun follows the lead and reaches the now abandoned Hope Welfare Center. Seeing this, his memories again flash back into his mind. Sun-jun rushes over there alone and is ambushed by a mysterious, black-clad figure who sticks a needle in his neck. As he sinks to the ground, he sees a yellow paint on the sole of that person's boot. As the clock counts down, Tae-ho resigns himself to his fate. After apologizing for betraying the other kids, he kicks the chair out from under himself. Sun-hoon arrives shortly after, and he and the recently awakened Sun-jun dash to save Tae-ho. Sun-jun pulls on the cable attached to the noose until his hands bleed, but by the time they get Tae-ho down, it's too late. Before they can fully process Tae-ho's death, they're accosted by Moon-kang and his minions outside the building. Sun-jun puts up a good fight, but once Sun-hoon is overpowered, he's quickly subdued as well. Wanting to torment Sun-jun as much as possible, Moon-kang wraps a gigantic chain around Sun-hoon's neck to strangle him. Moon-kang still thinks that Sun-jun is the one who killed her daughter. Though Sun-jun manages to break free and beat the goons of Moon-kang, what really saves them is the arrival of the police. Moon-kang doesn't try to escape or resist arrest. Neither do the brothers, but while Sun-jun is handcuffed, Sun-hoon isn't. At the police station, Sun-jun is interrogated by Officer Kang in the investigation room. Meanwhile, Chief Yeom Ki-nam goes to meet Moon-kang, who is now behind bars. When Chief Yeom Ki-nam shows his anger to him, Moon-kang threatens him that he is still above him, no matter if he is behind bars. Seeing this, Chief Yeom appoints Officer Kang to kill Moon-kang in an encounter. Chief knows the secrets of Officer Kang, like when he killed the son of Man Chun, who was still alive when he entered their home. So, it is easy to convince him to kill Moon-kang. In the bathroom, Officer Kang tries to deal with Moon-kang. He wants to know Chief Yeom Ki-nam's secrets in return for letting Moon-kang be free. But as soon as he opens the handcuffs of Moon-kang, he beats him to death mercilessly by hitting his head into the bathroom sink and goes away. After that, Moon-kang goes to the investigation room where Sun-jun is present. Moon-kang starts beating him too, by strangling his neck with an electric wire. Meanwhile, Sun-hoon, it turns out, has been sitting on the CCTV footage of Man-chun's murder, but now he turns it over to the detectives. The footage clearly shows Moon-kang pushing Man-chun off the rooftop. By the time Sun-hoon and the detectives get word of Moon-kang's murder spree, Sun-jun has already tricked Moon-kang by pretending to pass out and reversing their positions, so he's the one doing the strangling. They have to wrestle him off Moon-kang, but there's enough evidence to clear him of all charges and reinstate him as a detective in a press conference. Moon-kang is now convicted of the murder and put behind bars permanently. At the memorial of Tae-ho, producer Bae doesn't know about what happened to Moon-kang and Sun-jun. Eun-ki shows him the news about the arrest of Moon-kang and Sun-jun, who have been freed from all the charges. Meanwhile, the investigation continues. Police find a dead body in the freezer of the house of Moon-kang. While poring over Moon-kang and the detectives' call logs, Sun-jun finds one frequently dialed number in common, Ki-nam's. Sun-jun tells the whole story to his superior, Mr. Oh. They both go to Ki-nam's office, where he looks at some pictures of a skeleton buried in the soil. His superior distracts Ki-nam by acting drunk so Sun-jun can swipe his phone. That's how they find the video of Hyejin's murder, which tells them the killer is targeting family members of people associated with Hope Welfare. In the morning, when Sun-hoon is jogging in the park and Sun-jun is secretly following him to investigate him, he sees yellow paint on the soles of his shoes. Sung Joon had seen the same shoes the killer wore when he was injected with some medicine at the Hope Welfare Center when he went there to save Tae-san. After that, Sung Joon is seen in his office crafting mud clones of the boys from Hope Welfare Center. This means that he is also one of them and has some hidden secrets.